Mike Martindale is a candidate for College Station Independent School District Place 4. Joins us today. Thanks for being time with us today.
You bet.
You're a former superintendent. I think we probably ought to start right there at College Station Independent School District. I don't think I've ever had this situation before.
Yes, sir, I am, and absolutely, a number of people have asked me, someone made a comment to me. It's like, you just can't get enough, can you? So, but yes, sir, I am. I think it's just a matter of it's in my blood. Yeah.
There were other positions open on this school board that you could have chosen to run. Instead, you're choosing to run against the sitting president of the school board, who was on the school board when you were superintendent. Could you explain your reason for that choice?
When I made the decision to file, the other two places were already contested, actually, and Mr. Horak was the only one uncontested. And so really that kind of drove my decision making. I didn't want to be a part of a run with three candidates for a particular place and they're being unopposed. So that is really why I landed on place 4.
So not unusual for an administrator to necessarily run for a school board. That happens. We have another case in College Station on that. How many terms, what does it take to be efficient and effective in your first term as a school board member?
I think if it's someone new to the school business, it's a matter of them listening and just understanding how the district operates. So I think that someone not really familiar with how a school district operates or runs and the policy making and the true role of a board of trustees, it would likely take them one term to really understand what's happening and really probably start getting into their groove when they begin a second term. Obviously, with my particular situation, I'm going to elaborate on this a little bit, Scott. I've been in the business 33 years. You know, anyone that's been to any of our forums have heard this introduction from me. I've been in the business 33 years, from the beginnings way back before I will mention as a high school math teacher. I've been a campus administrator at a number of levels, from elementary to high school, and central office as well. And of course, I retired superintendent here. All that to say is, of course, that gives me insight that probably most candidates don't have, just as far as how a school district operates. I understand the roles and responsibilities of a superintendent and their responsibilities for running the school district on a daily basis. And I understand the role of a school board. And that's really, the school board has just a handful of primary operations they're truly entitled to. And that's hiring the superintendent, evaluating the superintendent, adopting policy that supports a collective vision as well as a budget, you know. But the superintendent runs the school district, and it's the board's responsibility to support them in that and hold them accountable for doing a good job.
If given the opportunity, would you be president of the school board?
No, sir. I have no interest in being president of the school board. Plus, policy would not allow. Well, let me rephrase that. A school board member cannot be eligible for an office until after they've served at least a year. So that wouldn't even be an option unless policies changed since I retired until second year if I were elected anyway. So would I be interested? I'm going to back up a little bit and say, I guess if it were my second year, my colleagues on the board approached and asked and nominated me for that, I would be flattered. And I would consider it at that time. Running now, I don't really have any particular aspirations to be a board officer. I'm running to support the school district and give back. I said this yesterday, and I'm talking a lot. I apologize, Scott. Maybe I'm answering some of your questions along the way.
Purpose of this.
You know, we moved here in 2007, Alicia and I, my wife, who's a teacher in the district. And our oldest, our daughter, was 2 years old. And our son, which you and I were talking about earlier, who is a freshman at the University of Arkansas, go Aggies, by the way, was an infant. And my wife and I, being in education, being former Aggies, we knew the quality of this school district and College Station, and we knew the quality of this community and the quality of life. And we knew that, hey, we need to get somewhere, get settled to raise these kids, because the experiences they have as they're growing up, K through 12, in the school district, in the community, absolutely positions them for success after. This was our motivation for coming here. They've graduated. They're both doing wonderful things. They're products of the school district. They're both flourishing where they are. And I attribute that to what they got in College Station ISD and all the people and the community and in the school district, the teachers they had, the employees they came in contact with, coaches, classroom teachers, support staff, whatever it may be, invested in them along the way. And so I'm running really to get back. I'm thankful for what those people did for my kids. Of course, we're grateful for the professional opportunities that we've had along the way those years, but I'm really running to support those folks. Being a public educator is more difficult now than it ever has been. And if I can offer some of my knowledge in this role to support them, I feel that calling.
Tell me about any contact you've had with the current superintendent.
I haven't spoke with Dr. Harkrider. I think I saw him. We said hello right as he came aboard, and they were doing bond presentations for the 23 bond, and he came and did a presentation at the Booster Club, of which I was on the Booster Club board at that time. And we said hello, shook hands, but we haven't had any dialogue outside of that during this time.
There have been people who have characterized that this school district at the high school level has become split. There's a purple campus, there's a maroon campus. Your thoughts about that, and if it's true or not in your view?
And that's unfortunate. Yes, absolutely. I've heard it. And there have been comments, regarding me along that as well, because I'm a former principal. I was the inaugural principal at College Station High School. I can tell you, serving in the roles and responsibilities I've had in the district and central office, every decision we make along the way is for the best of the school district, for all of the schools. My kids went to College Station High School. They have many friends they grew up with. They attend Consol. My observations are the parents and the adults, not the parents. The adults seem to get more worked up over this comparison than the kids, because the kids compete against each other. It's a healthy rivalry. They are all successful. That's the thing is, we have two of the best high schools in the state of Texas. I mean, a family can move here, go to either one, and they're going to get exceptional education. And that's reflective of the quality of the school district. What I think is unfortunate is at times everybody wants to get caught up over that, but we have 17 other campuses. And this is about 19 schools in the collective district as a whole. And we need to stay focused on what's best for everybody. And that's what I would absolutely hold myself accountable for and aspire to. I remind folks, as superintendent, you're accountable to the Board of Trustees, and they're going to hold you accountable for making sure that we're all working collectively for the good of the whole. And I did that. Mr. Horak, who is running for this place as well, was my board president for several years, and we worked beautifully together. And I told someone the other day, I'm not running to run against Mr. Horak. I'm running to serve on the school board.
How have things changed in your view as far as communication, teachers being heard by their administration? Because that's become more and more the idea you need to hold on to the good ones and incentivize wherever possible. But talk to me about communication.
Yeah, I think it's extremely important, again, because this is the most challenging time, I think, ever for public educators. Recruitment and retention is more challenging than ever. So obviously compensation plays a variable in holding on to those folks. But I think there's an intangible there that is ensuring that those folks that are right there with our kids each and every day feel empowered and respected and engaged as professionals and treated as such, and that they feel valued and that they feel like there's avenues for them to provide meaningful feedback and they're heard. I think that's something as a district we have to really stay focused on, because that's going to be the delta, the piece outside of compensation that makes people feel valued. And that's how you hang on to quality people. That's how you create an environment to recruit quality people. College Station ISD has been a wonderful school. It's traditionally a very strong school district. It continues as such today, and it will continue to be, because it's good folks. The foundation of that are the folks with our kids each and every day. So we have to make sure that we're engaging them and getting their feedback on the decision-making process. And it needs to be on the front end, not after the fact, so that they know that as decisions are made, they feel ownership of that decisions. And that's really how you create real change that's sustainable beyond a particular program, beyond a superintendent. That is how an organization sustains real positive change, when the stakeholders within the organization truly feel valued and bought into something. That has to be a focus of the district. Quite frankly, that has to be a focus of all school districts, because our educators don't make enough. They definitely don't do it for the money. And so we have to make sure they feel valued and empowered, and we trust them with the feedback and direction. They're with the kids every day, and they know how Johnny learns. They know how Ava Martindale learned. They knew how Cooper Martindale learned, and there's value in that. We need to listen to that.
Austin has added vouchers to the equation. What does College Station School District need to do to position itself?
Somebody asked me, well, what do you think about vouchers? Well, I'm against it, and I said, so our options are this, is to just be upset and pout about it. But it's happening. I mean, it's coming, and it's becoming effective next year. So what we have to do as a district is just continue to strive to be the absolute best that we can be. Vouchers are going to be in play, and families and kids are able to make choices. Then we need to work to ensure that College Station ISD is a destination district. If this is the way this game's going to be played, then we need to make sure we are telling our story and putting a product out there for people to see, be proud of, which there's lots of great things going on in our school district. So instead of the risk of losing kids utilizing vouchers, that we're able to increase our enrollment, because ultimately that's how you generate more revenue, and that opens the opportunity to so many other things, whether it's compensation for our staff or programming or whatever the case may be.
This happening at a time when the enrollment in College Station is going down.
Correct.
So
Correct.
Define a destination school district, if you will, in your view.
A destination school district, in my opinion, is one that is obviously providing all the resources and tools for the kids to be successful, not only now, but when they graduate. So how do you see that? Well, you communicate the things they're accomplishing. National Merit Scholars, Spelling Bee champions, the CTE Center, which the first phase is completed, the second phase is underway. You share and celebrate all those things, the fine arts, the athletics, the academic success. You get that out there so parents who are considering a change and a move this direction can see those things. Each kid has a particular niche, and those parents and those kids are going to be looking for that. So it's important to highlight all aspects of what's happening. It is going to become a game of marketing the great things in your school district, and there's lots of great things happening in our school districts, from the classroom to facilities. It's a real privilege, and really positions kids well for the future to get what they get if they attend College Station ISD.
I was talking to a former school board member a few days ago, and you've been here long enough to know when a natatorium used to be what it was all about. We had to have a natatorium. So if people don't think that the focus changes, it does in fact change. There's no doubt about that.
I remember the natatorium was on the it was Proposition C of the 2021 bond. You might can fact. I think my numbers are right on that, and yeah, and I think it had kind of been discussed previously a time or two. I don't know if it had made a bond or not, but that passed the first go around, and that's something we were very proud of, and it needed it because I'm not real sure that a lot had been done to it since it opened, and I don't even remember when it opened. So, but it's absolutely gorgeous now.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
But those are again, it just, what's the focus going to be? I hear the word trust a lot in the discussion, whether it's with the teachers and their students, teachers and their administration. Define trust for me in this case.
Doing what you say you're going to do, and actions speak louder than words. You simply have to just take care of business and communicate those things accordingly. I think there's, I can reflect on it as superintendent, and that is making sure you're communicating with your board. And there are difficult things superintendents handle. I have such admiration for those that serve in that role because there's always difficult decisions that typically in situations you have to manage that were none of your doing, but as superintendent you have to manage. And so it's important to communicate and work with your board and handle those things with absolute integrity. As board member, it'd be very similar. You're going to have the same type of conversations with leadership, and you have to work together to make sure that you're handling things appropriately, communicating appropriately, and being present at activities and approachable so people can come talk to you.
So talk to me a little bit about that interaction between superintendent and board. How is that direction given? Is there give and take in that situation?
Well, they have to, it's a team of 8. So there has to be a relationship and the ability to open, close, whatever the case may be, to have crucial conversations, to be respectful of one another. Is it a give and take? Absolutely. Absolutely it is. And I think sometimes people get confused. The superintendent doesn't tell the board what to do. The board tells the superintendent what to do. And that's through casting a common vision and those types of things. But the board doesn't need to roll in and start trying to get their hands in the daily operations of things. That's what they hired the superintendent administration to do. The board's responsibility is to work together to cast a vision, policy, hold the superintendent accountable for the success or not of the school district, more of a policy level approach, not a day-to-day operation approach. So there has to be a respectful conversation. I feel very confident that I had an excellent working relationship with the Board of Trustees during my time, all 7, and even the board presidents I had, including Mr. Horak. As superintendent, if you're thinking something, you have to share with the group, hey, I'm thinking about this, or here's a situation. And then you have to listen so they can give you feedback, because there are many times where your board members hear stuff that you don't, and they may tell you something that you go, oh, I had no idea it was being perceived this way, or this was even going on. So there has to be a meaningful relationship, and if it's not, it's going to impact the district as an entirety, because folks need to see that team of 8 functioning effectively together. It doesn't need to become everybody the best of pals, because it needs to be a professional relationship where you can still hold each other accountable.
If you're elected to this school board, what's the number one message you want to send back to Austin?
How long do we have, Scott? I'm not ready. So, I think, and I mean, this is not a hard one. The message is, public health's not the enemy. We help build the community and society as a whole, and we work for the good of that. The biggest thing that if I were elected that I would advocate for in Austin, we have to have meaningful dialogue about school finance. There has been no, while they've done some things for compensation through House Bill 2 this last session and those types of things, there's been no real adjustments to the funding mechanism in Austin in the school finance and template system to truly impact the ability of a district to generate additional revenue. And what you've had, and now this is why you see so many school districts struggling with their budget, because the revenue piece from the Austin and the calculations that are used and the weights in different programs and all that ADA versus enrollment, all those things that have been conversation have not kept up with inflation. And we all, even on a personal level, understand what's happening with the cost of goods. And it costs school districts just as much or more, to turn on the lights, just like our electric bills, their electric bills, the cost of diesel and all those types of things. It costs more to run a school district now than ever before, yet the revenue mechanisms and funding elements from the state of Texas have not kept up with that. And that's why you're beginning to see this more than ever. Not that it's ever really been caught up, but I think there's a greater discrepancy. It's more challenging now than ever before. So that is something I would really work on, develop a relationship with those elected officials. I did it as superintendent. You go sit in their office, you create those relationships, and you make sure they have your some cell number. So if they're considering something, they can call you and truly understand what they're voting on. You just have to develop that relationship and have some real conversations with them. And, through the course of time, maybe you get some movement on things.
Social media gives platform to almost anything. What part should social media play when it comes to input about either negative or positive things in a school system?
I think you have to be real careful with social media, especially when it comes to anonymous stuff. Because we live in a day and time where you can say anything and everything you want, even with your name, and there's really not any accountability. So you add the element of anonymity to that, and you get half truths, you get no context, and you get blatant lies. And so I quite honestly, personally, if there's something that's anonymous, I pay no attention to it, because to me, if folks are going to say things in a negative fashion, because most times they're saying positive, it's not anonymous, then I'm not going to give it credence, because they failed to actually even recognize it with their name. So what I like, and I think it's benefited the schools tremendously, is kids have to put their cell phones away during the school day. And typically what's occurring when they had it before is they were on social media. And then kids began to have issues with one another and everything else because of things that get posted on social media or messaging passed back and forth and so on and so forth. I think if you ask the teachers and administrators now, that's been a wonderful thing, because kids now are interacting in person again, have their heads up, they're not staring at their phones. I think we as adults can probably learn something from that as well. So, social media can be a positive thing, but it can absolutely be a negative thing as well. It just, I limit how much I look at it, because I think over a course of time, it can begin to impact how you view things. And there are things that just can be said with little to no bearing or twisted this way or that way when folks don't know. A lot of it's sound bites and snippets to get clicks, and there's so much more to what's occurring in the world beyond that bite or clickbait.
Anything we haven't covered today?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. I appreciate you, Scott. It's always a pleasure to come and visit with you. And early voting started today, and I said this yesterday, and I'll close. I know everyone running for a position in College Station ISD, and what a wonderful situation for the school district. It really is, because they're all quality people. So however the election ends, the school district's going to have a quality group of people taking these places, and I know they'll just continue to work to make the school district one of the best it is, and they'll continue down that same path. So just honored and privileged to be a part of this process, and we'll see how the voters take this.
Mike Martindale is a candidate for College Station School Board, Place 4. Thanks for the time.
Thank you.